What is going on, guys? My name is Joey, and this is my first gaming related video here on YouTube, and hopefully the first of many. Today, I wanted to talk about solos in Apex Legends. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, I've been a gamer my whole life. I started out with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Halo number 1, all the way through all the Halos, Gears of War, all that stuff. So that's kind of like the generation I'm coming from. Yeah, I've always been very passionate about gaming. I consider myself above average. Yeah, so I have a little bit of backstory. I'm very passionate about gaming, and I love the experiences that we can kind of get into, in gaming, which is very difficult to replicate in real life unless you're playing sports or something like that. So I'm going to talk about solos, some pros, some cons. I might mention a couple other games, and then some closing thoughts. So that being said, let's get right into the video. By the way, if there's a little bit of echo, it is because I just moved into this house and I don't have the room soundproofed yet. So sorry about that. So solos in Apex Legends. Just to give you guys some more backstory, I'm playing on PC, although I have played on controller, on Xbox, obviously on controller, and it was pretty fun. I have mildly different experiences with both. Actually, rather different on both, but it is fun playing on both. And I do have experience playing Fortnite solos, squads. I played a little bit of solos in Blackout, but I just didn't like it. I didn't like that game. I don't know. I can't believe I paid $60 for that game, and Apex Legends is free. That's a whole nother video. But some of the pros about solos coming to Apex Legends is that, and this is kind of what I missed from other games, is that we get the more intimate 1v1 engagements. I think that's what every shooter kind of boils down to, is just you and another guy. You guys have your guns and you guys are fighting, and the winner comes out on top. There's really no other way to kind of describe it. That is, if you have a good core 1v1 experience, I think everything else in a shooter is going to kind of fall into place. With solos coming to the game, obviously you get to kind of test that out. There's a somewhat of a better representation of your skill. Speaking of skill, right now in Apex we have the ranked mode, but that is a team-based ranked mode. I could imagine them making a solo mode that's ranked with those exact same kind of like parameters, and it might be a little bit better, or extremely toxic, actually, now that I think about it, people hiding and stuff like that. But in solos, you can't blame your teammates for not helping you. You have a little bit better control over your fate, if that makes sense. If you find a guy, there's nobody around you, you get your little 1v1 engagements. You might have a nice little brawl. He might slide away, jump off a hill, pop a gold backpack or whatever, or pop a tall. You chase after him. Oh shit! Now he's got shields again, and it's good. It's a good time, and it's a lot of fun. And that's, I think, what all of us want at the end of the day, is to have fun. And I think if solos can bring us more of those core, kind of intimate 1v1 fights, I think this is going to be a great thing for Apex moving forward. Now, I've played about 7 games now, 8 games. I've gotten 2 wins in solos so far. And let me tell you, the adrenaline that you get when you're in that final 1v1 situation, it is absolutely nuts. Granted, there are a lot of wraiths. There are a lot of wraiths running around. I think initially people thought that Pathfinder was going to be the one, but he doesn't make a lot of noise. And when you have like 60, you have like 59 potential enemies in a lobby, rather than, when you're playing squads, what is it, 20? So you have 19 other opposing teams. It's a lot of different things can happen when you make noise, which is why it's good. It's good to invest in a pair of solid headphones, or a solid headset, basically. But yeah, a lot of wraiths, a lot of wraiths, a lot of robots. I've seen a couple bloodhounds here and there. It's still early. It's the first day that it dropped, so I would expect people are just kind of having fun playing whatever champ that they want to play, doing their challenges. That's something I have here in my notes, that it is easier to do challenges. You don't have to kind of convince your team, hey, can we drop all the way out to like relay or something? You could just kind of go wherever you want to do and handle what you got to handle. Just talking about that makes me excited for the future of solos. I hope it stays in Apex. Also, the games are very fast, very, very, very fast. 12 minutes, 11 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, things like that. If you're really moving and looting and trying to frag out, you can get in and out and just get more kills under your belt a lot faster than you can rather than playing in squads. Yeah. Another pro to solos coming to Apex Legends is if you suck at comms, you don't have to worry about it because there's no way you don't have to communicate with anyone. You can literally do your thing. You don't have to worry about it, and there's not going to be any problems at all. You're not going to affect anyone whether or not you communicate. You don't need to ping anything. The entire ping system becomes obsolete in solo, so that's kind of a cool thing. Unless you're pinging something for yourself, just to like, okay, you see a drop on a map and maybe you want to, kind of mark it or something, figure out how many meters away it is. You can use it for that. But if you suck at comms, you don't want to play with the mic, you just want to go into solos and kind of chill out on your own, you can totally do that. And the last thing that I kind of have here is that it's easier to win. I felt that, in my experience, those games where, let's say, before solos, you had to play in squads, and something happens to your team and you're the last guy, then you got to wait for you got to try to hide the entire game. Maybe you catch a solo guy running around here or there, but then you let the last two teams fight and you run in there, and hopefully you got like a Mastiff and an alternator and you're just blasting people and you can get the win, or maybe throw some nades, weaken them and push hard while they're on the back foot. Now you're only dealing with one person. My first win, which I don't know if I can show gameplay here because my quality got screwed up, thanks OBS. But my first win, it was two guys were fighting, and he was popping a tall behind a truck, and I had a Mastiff. He ended up completing it, but I hit him for 116, and then he dropped. And luckily he had a self-res, so I could do my execution. The second game, it was just me and a Mirage. We both had alternators, and I was just able to come away with it. So, it's a lot easier. I feel that if you're good at playing position and rotating correctly and playing the short side of the circle and things like that, which I could totally do a video on, by the way. That's what you want to do, and it's a lot easier to, if you're just playing for wins, it's a lot easier to do that. Of course, you are going to run into people here and there, and it is worth it to take some fights because you're going to get stronger. The more fights that you win, obviously, you're going to get more loot. But I have noticed, speaking of loot, that there's just more loot around. There's more purples. I'm not stuck with the white armor the entire game, whether I fight somebody or not. It is more satisfying to third party, but it is also kind of annoying to third party, which kind of leads me into my next topic, which is the first topic, coming into cons. Everybody's favorite term when it comes to battle royales is third parties. So, third party, what does that even mean? It's like, okay, if there's two guys fighting, right, and then a third guy kind of picks on them, you call that third partying. In Halo, we used to call it sloppy seconds. But in Apex, third partying, it's just a part of battle royales. There's really no way to get around it. I am going to bring up Fortnite here. In Fortnite, when you get third party, you can at least build. You can sometimes block out a sniper by building walls a certain way and kind of deal with your fight. Or you could be in a build battle, and you're kind of running through builds, and you don't really have to worry about anyone kind of shooting you, give or take. But in Apex, you don't really have all that. That's why it's really important to play a champ that you can defend yourself with. I'm actually curious how Gibraltar would fare, given he has his dome shield. So guys like Gibraltar, possibly Bangalore, Wraith, Pathfinder for his mobility, maybe Octane. What I found, I played a couple games with Octane, is that he is super loud with his Q. It's like totally not even worth it to even play him, because he's gonna make so much noise and the entire lobby is gonna just chase after you. Noise is such a big thing in Apex. You could count that as a con if you want. If you're not playing with sound, you're not gonna have a good time. But if you make any noise, that's a lot of enemies that are gonna hear you and try to come after you. So another con that we might see is that there's gonna be minimal champ. I call characters in Apex champs. Minimal champ diversity. meaning you're gonna see a lot of the same characters. I would imagine if a ranked mode ever came out, we would have lobbies literally of only Wraith or only Pathfinder, and I can only imagine the toxicity that would arise from that. Or maybe they don't even see it as a problem. Maybe the developers have already thought of this and they're like, hey, you know what? If there's 60 Wraiths in the game, so what? Let people do what they want. I could imagine 60 Gibraltars popping their ult could break the server. I remember back in the Destiny days on my PS4 when I threw a Nova Bomb as a Warlock, and it would literally break my system sometimes depending on what was happening due to all the graphics and effects. So I mean there'd have to be like 5 Gibraltars popping off at the same time, but minimal champ diversity. I don't think any game creator wants that. But I think with solos, it's just something that you might have to just kind of accept. I don't even really see it as a negative yet. You just got to get used to kind of fighting those champs. But yeah, leading into my next con is sweaty. So I have sweaty final players and campers. People are going to hide. People are going to try to go for the win. This is why I think if there is a rank mode, I think it should definitely like kind of prioritize kills or placement. But without the punishment of like if you don't make it far enough, you lose like hella points. When playing, I think my first game, I ran into 2 guys that were just kind of hiding. One guy swapped weapons, and I was able to hear it. Shout out to the $60 HyperX headphones that I'm wearing. Better audio than the Sennheiser's, by the way, but the Sennheiser's mic is unbeatable. If you guys are curious about what I'm talking about, just hit me in the comments below. But anyway, sweaty people hiding, things like that. This guy had a Mastiff. I had an L-Star, but I was like standing right behind him, and I was able to just melt him before he could turn and hit me. Those are things that you're gonna have to deal with. But the game is incredibly fast. It's super fast paced. The circle doesn't take too long before it moves again. It almost reminds me of Fortnite's Blitz mode, where the circle's kind of already closing right when you start. So that might be something to consider. Yeah. And then my last con that I have here is the alternator. When I have an alternator, I am going to beat anyone that doesn't get the jump on me. Even if they get the jump on you, you can turn on them quickly with the alternator. And like alternator R99, alternator Spitfire, alternator Peacekeeper, alternator Mastiff, anything like that, alternator R3, something, alternator Devotion, anything to blow the shield. If you don't kill them with the alternator, you switch to a Shredder and you just take them down. That is so fucking powerful in this mode, guys. It is literally like, if they don't nerf it, I will be shocked. I would imagine they're going to pull it down maybe another 0.5, 0.25 something, damage or something like that. It is just way too strong right now. And the game that I played just before this, I killed 4 people with my alternator, and then I ran into another Wraith that had it. She was able to, we were going back and forth, but she was able to get me. It's like, if you don't have that gun, you're just not going to lose your 1v1. Also, sniping, I don't think is really viable in this. If you don't have your back covered and you're scoping in and you're sniping somebody's just going to run up on you. Like, it's just not even worth it to snipe at that point. So I would, you got to play a little bit different. I definitely think close quarters and smaller, like more dodgy champs are going to be better. So I guess in a way you could say there's like less weapon diversity, but compared to other games, there's a ton of weapon diversity. Like Apex is one of the only games that I know where every gun can be viable if you put it, it doesn't even need to be that specific of a situation. Aside from like snipers or like a Mozambique with a hammer point or something like that. But yeah, guys, in closing, I really like solos. I think it's fun. It's just anything that they can add to Apex Legends at this point is just gonna make it like that much better and have that much more staying power. I don't need to worry about hitting my friends up to get on. I can just get on whenever I want, play some games. Just kind of worry about me. My attention doesn't have to be spread among so many people. It's great. It's honestly great. I think that there's gonna be little things we can nitpick here and there, but I think I had a lot of fun playing the games that I played today. Maybe it becomes more toxic down the road. I would imagine at nighttime when all the buddies get on, more people are going to be playing squads than they're going to be playing solos. But I do like how fast it is to find a game. I think this is amazing for the health of the game overall, and I cannot wait to see what Respawn does for Apex and what they can bring to the future. That being said, guys, if you made it this far, tell me what you guys liked about Solo so far. If you guys have tried it, I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. You can follow me on Instagram, and if you want to follow the stream, jump in, down below. All that information is down below. I really appreciate each and every one of you that saw this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.